I do remember being calm. I just felt very relaxed and was like, okay, am I going to die from this or am I going to feel better?
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough. And when we do talk about it, many of us, most of us, we're not very good at it. So one of my goals with this podcast, which is my only podcast, is to have more conversations and hopefully better conversations with attempt survivors and ideators, in large part to help more people in more places hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, I'd love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. Please note, our next listeners meeting will be Sunday, July 13th at noon. That is Eastern Standard Time. I will put a link in this episode and the next couple of episodes that are obviously before July 13th. I hope you can join us there. Also, we are now much more active on social media, and we would absolutely love your support. You know how it works, the liking, the subscribing, the commenting, sharing, blah, blah, blah. Just check it out. Almost every major platform is either Suicide Noted or Suicide Noted Podcast. And a special thanks to Ambient up in Canada for helping out with all of our social media stuff. And a friendly reminder to check out that poll on Spotify this week. It is about the afterlife, and I would love your thoughts. Now, finally, we are talking about suicide on this podcast, like we always do. And my guests and I don't hold back, so please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. Today, I am talking with Clare. Clare lives in Ontario, and she is a suicide attempt survivor. Hey, Clare. What are you up to?
Not much. You? How are you?
I'm not great, but at least I'm not dead.
Yeah, 100%. I thought I would reach out to you because my best friend that just passed away, he wanted to go on your podcast, and I was like, and then I was like, okay, I should do it.
Hang on. You have a best friend who wanted to be on this podcast.
Yeah.
And then did he end his life?
Yeah. Last month. And then I was like, okay, I listen to your podcast every single day, right? So I was like, maybe I'm the right one to be on there.
And where in the world are you?
I'm in Canada. I'm in Ontario. I noticed that a lot of new people come on are from Ontario. And I was like, wow. Like,
what was your friend's name who died?
His name was Sam.
How did that affect you? Tough question, I know.
Honestly, still right now, like I was taking off time work before it happened. And then I'm still taking time off because of it. Of course, you know, like he wanted to go to school to do rehab and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, like for me, somebody who's suffering myself, like he's actually doing something with his life and wanting to help people who have addiction and stuff, you know, with mental health. And his family asked me to do a speech. So I did. And I barely got through it, but you know.
At the funeral?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm still taking time off from it, but you know.
It is so interesting. I have no doubt that there are people who I've spoken to, what I know a few for sure that have ended their lives, a good number of people who might listen or might even have an interest in joining me, but they die. Mm-hmm. But I've never actually heard someone tell me for sure that that was the case. This person was, you know, listened to your podcast, had thought about reaching out, and now he's no longer here.
Yeah.
Let us hope wherever he is, regardless of our beliefs, he's okay.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
I don't mean to sound too cheesy about it, but you know.
I mean, I think anyway, it sort of does sound cheesy, I think, no matter what people say. So, you know.
I'm guessing you're in your early 20s?
I'm actually 27.
Okay. You're in your home?
Yeah, I got the whole basement to myself, you know, me and the cat, which is great.
What's the cat's name?
Jack. Not to sound like a crazy cat lady or anything, but...
Are you a crazy cat lady?
No, I am not.
Are you a crazy lady?
Some would say. Yeah, and then I got a crazy dog, but yeah.
Crazy dog named?
Finn.
And we've got Clare, the lost survivor, attempt survivor?
Yes. I have attempted 4 times. Yeah, no, they were just all overdose.
You know what? You're not good at it.
No, I'm not. To be 100% honest, my friend, he did it twice. He's not here. I did it 4 times. Look at me, just sitting here on the podcast.
Well, let me ask you a question, Claire. In addition to thanking you for joining me, I always do this so late.
Yeah, thank you for doing this, you know?
Do you want to be alive as we talk right now?
Honestly, all week I have been struggling. Today I feel fine. I'm like, do I feel fine? Because I'm like, doing a podcast type thing, sharing my story, or is just this just a good day? But yeah, no, I was struggling all week, being like, I'm going to see my nephews next week. Should I, do something on my way home, like overdose or something? Because like, I don't want, if I do overdose or do anything, I don't want to be home, and my mom define me. I would rather her get the phone call.
Let me ask you a question that is a real question, but it's also a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek question, because my role here is to listen and ask some questions. And when someone says they're planning or getting close, it is my belief there's nothing I can say that will change that. It's not even my role. If there's a listener or two out there that wonders, well, why don't you just say this or say that? Let me ask you, Claire. You can see my tone and my face. Is there
Yes.
anything I could say that would change your mind about what you want to do with you?
Honestly, no. I mean, I have the best job. I can't complain. So it's like, why? Why do I?
You know there are phone numbers you can call if you want. You know there are things you can do if you want. You've
Yeah.
probably tried. Like, you don't need me to be the 343rd person to tell you things that you already know. And I think most of my listeners get that. But once in a while I say that because I'm like, guys, gals, come on. So, Claire, where does this begin?
Yeah, it all started in 2022.
4 times you have attempted, they've all been with pills, and you're saying it all started about 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, let's start there. What was happening 5 years ago?
Honestly, I don't know if it had to do with COVID or not. But previous to COVID, I'll just say, like, as a kid, I had really bad anger issues as a kid. I always thought I didn't want to be around. I never thought about actually taking action, like I wanted to kill myself, anything like that. It was more like, why am I here? But then once it got to COVID, I just couldn't do it anymore. Like I was stepping away from work, I was doing work, but like not being there mentally. So I finally left my job that I was there for 4 years. And then I just took a year off. One day, just taking the year off, I decided, you know what? My antidepressants are sitting right there. I took like almost the whole thing.
You said after about a year of being off of that job, one day I just kind of decided, you know what? Give me a little more there, because is it really, I'm not saying it's not a loaded thing. Is it really just kind of like looking at a bottle? I mean, like, you know what? Today's the day. Is it that sort of not simple, but that straightforward? That just like,
So my whole thing, so I was thinking about it for a long time. That was always my go-to. Like when I felt down, it's like, what if I take this bottle? Will it help? Honestly, with me taking a year off work and everything just for my own mental health, it wasn't terrible. Like I can't complain about it because I was taking me time. And one day I was just so stressed that I took it. And my friend called me 5 minutes after. I don't know how I got through it, but I got through the day of taking, I believe the doctor said it was 100 antidepressants. And then around 6 o'clock at night, my body just started crashing. Like I was so shaky and numb. So I ended up going to the hospital, which obviously was not fun telling my mom because she had no idea. She just knew that I was taking time off. I don't remember having a conversation with her or the doctors because apparently I had a really bad seizure. All the meds they gave me to obviously come back. I just remember hallucinating and that's it.
so on that day in 2022,
Hmm.
you take about 100 antidepressants.
Yes.
Later in the day, you start not feeling well.
Yeah.
Like when you're taking the antidepressants, these pills, in an effort to end your life, do you remember, were you kind of calm? Were you frantic?
I don't want to seem like a psycho, but I do remember being calm. I just felt very relaxed and was like, okay, am I going to die from this, or am I going to feel better?
Yeah, I'm wondering why you think that might sound like you're a psycho. And that's just, we're using that word a little colloquially, but so don't send me emails. Okay. You know what we mean. You know what she means. Why do you think that's sounding psycho?
Well, because you know what you're doing. You know that you're taking all of this and you know what's going to end up happening.
Hmm.
I just obviously wasn't expecting for it to hit. When I took it, it was like late afternoon type thing. And then I didn't start feeling it till like around 6 p.m. So I thought I was fine, like nothing's going to happen.
Claire, you wanted something to happen.
Yeah, I wanted something to happen, but I was starting to think, is nothing going to happen? Because it took so long for my body to react. So once my body started feeling very numb and shaky, I was like, okay, is this time? I was sitting on a curb in a parking lot with my friend.
Oh, okay. So you were outside.
Yeah.
The friend knew what was going on.
So she knew that I took pills. She just didn't know how much. Honestly, if something was going to happen, she would be the best person to be around, whether I wanted saving or not, because she had my mom's number. She knows how to like talk to her as if I would explain stuff to her. So she called 911. I was on the phone with my mom. Don't remember any of that. I mean, I guess I could be thankful to her, but I would probably do it again, but I would obviously have to do more research.
Well, hang on a second. You did do it 3 more times again.
Yeah.
Okay. But that day you went to the hospital. Did they pump you?
So all I remember is going into the hospital. So the paramedic asked me, can I walk in or do I want to be pushed in on the bed? And I was like, oh yeah, I can walk. Now, whatever paramedic let me do that was probably crazy because I was walking like a complete drunk. Like I could barely stand. All I remember is that and them putting the oxygen mask on me and stripping me and asking me questions. And then that's it.
Did they send you to another kind of hospital afterwards?
I was in the ER for about 24 hours, and then they moved me upstairs to the psych ward. I do remember being there, but I was still out of it, of course, and them giving me other meds to help and things like that. I would say going for my first time, that was not helpful.
The psych ward. Okay.
Yeah.
How long? It's interesting. I think sometimes when people have heard the podcast a lot, they start answering questions before I even ask them because they just know what I'm going to ask. Which I understand, right? I mean, I get it. I would be the same way. I'm like, oh, I know it's coming.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
I was there for a week and a half. So for the doctors there, you had a doctor, but you talked to them when they needed to talk to you. It wasn't like, hey, I need somebody to talk to. Like, can I have somebody to talk to?
Hmm.
They didn't have that.
Wish I could say I was surprised. That was 2022.
Yeah.
So when you get out, do you kind of go back to life as it was? Does something change?
Honestly, it was very hard to get back into routine. Honestly, it felt like almost a month being in
Uh-huh.
there, but it wasn't. When I got out, I went on to Indeed, tried to find a job.
Let's be very clear here. Claire is not getting paid by Indeed. All right. So did you find a job?
It took forever, but yes, I got a job, but it wasn't the right job. It's a job. I needed to get somewhere, especially into routine, which is really important.
What's your field?
So I was retail. Now
Mhm.
I'm a vet assistant.
Oh, cool. So 2022, when is the next overdose?
So the first one was around November, and then the second one was January. I did overdose, but I don't want to make it seem like I didn't overdose, but it wasn't like as bad. It was like minor. So I went in because I was like, okay, maybe I don't want to die today. So I went into the hospital, a different one this time. Of course, I told them what they want to hear, and they let me go. I was just saying that, yeah, at the moment, I didn't want to live. They just decided that, okay, you don't need to be admitted.
Well, when you took the overdose, did you want to die?
Yes. But of course, at the time, I didn't have very many pills at the time.
Mm.
And I was like, I could take this, but, nothing will probably happen. And then a friend convinced me to go to hospital. And then I was just stuck to IVs for like 12 hours. And then I went home.
Do you have any idea why you wanted to die?
I would say because I am not good enough for my mother. So my parents divorced as I was 8 years old, and I was adopted when I was eight. Sorry, I was adopted from Russia when I was on my first birthday.
Wait a second. Russia?
Yeah. I know that my brother's from Moscow, but mine, I don't know. It's not like a known town.
Were you adopted together?
No. So he's not actually my bio brother.
Oh, I see. So your parents adopted two children from Russia.
Yeah.
And when you say you're not good enough for your mom, you mean your adopted mom?
Yeah, from her. She had to put up with, obviously, my dad. Before he cheated on my mom, he
Hmm.
wasn't around much, like he was either always working or golfing or something, like always had an excuse for not being around.
This is like when you're a little kid.
Yeah. And whenever he was around, he was angry. He couldn't handle messes, nothing. Everything would just set him off. So, of course, after that, I've always wanted to be there for my mom. She may not say it, but I know I'm her favorite child because I do the most with her and stuff. Yeah, I just really don't think I've succeeded. I stress her out almost every single day with my own mental health and stuff.
I know he's not your biological brother, but does he also struggle with stuff?
He's very quiet. When it comes to that, he won't say.
Mhm.
I know that obviously we have each other's back and we've been through stuff together, but for him saying it himself, he'll never say it or admit to it.
And now this is early 2023. When do you find the podcast?
Actually, funny enough, the day after New Year's of 2024.
So the first one was November of 2022. The second one was January of 2023. So about a year later, you find the podcast. But in that year, is there another third attempt?
So the third attempt was in 2023, near the
Mhm.
end of the year.
Okay. And that was an overdose. Did you go to a hospital again?
Yeah, and they let me out. Honestly, it is like a routine. With how I think about it, it's almost like a routine. Like you just go in, tell them the same thing, and
The three attempts, and I know there's a fourth one, but those three, all overdoses. The first time you said, you sort of said, well, I just decided one day I saw the pills, kind of the way you said it sounded kind of casual. And
yeah.
then you were calm when you were taking them. Is it the same, similar vibe, if you will, attempts 2 and 3?
For the second one, I would say I wasn't as calm because I did throw one of my best friends to the curb, trying to ruin her relationship with others. I didn't mean to at the time, but it was just like the zone and the feelings. And I was like, you know what? You've done all this. Here you go, people. Like, here's stuff she did. But to this day, somehow she still talks and she messages me every day.
That was after attempt number 2.
Yeah.
And then later that year, attempt number 3.
Yeah. So later that year, instead of just taking my antidepressants, I also took my ADHD meds, which this attempt, I would say being in the hospital that time did not help because after the doctor was talking to my mom on the phone, she called me. She said, "You know what? You're lucky to be alive because the doctor said that you should be dead with how much you took of your ADHD meds and antidepressants." And I was like, well, am I supposed to be? I didn't know how I was supposed to feel at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. That's a very interesting thing to hear to somebody who's
I was just so confused. I was like,
lucky to be alive, but it's like, I didn't want to be alive.
yeah, I was just very confused. Like it was my mother telling me this, right? So I was like, I'm going to watch what I say, but I don't know what to say at that time.
And then there's a fourth attempt in 2024 or 2025?
2024. Similar, but so all my attempts were just my antidepressants, except for that one time I did take my ADHD meds too. And so the next one, I did end up getting admitted for the third time. Honestly, the hospital that I was at, not saying that I don't want to be saved, like every time I will overdose, but if I had to, I would rather have those people.
Cool.
Yeah, because once you're admitted, they were doing like little classes type thing, like to get the day going, time going by. Like
Yeah.
you could do group walks outside around the premise, learning about mindfulness and all of that kind of stuff. They were doing whatever they could. Not to get you out of there, but to not be there for the whole 6 months.
Maybe to try to help?
Yeah.
You were there for 6 months?
No, thank God. So I was there for a week, went home for the weekend, a trial type thing, see how you feel. And then I went back to the hospital Sunday and left on Monday. So,
Okay. That sounds like a little bit of a different approach. That's interesting.
yeah, obviously I didn't know what to expect other than the first hospital that I went to. So this one I definitely appreciate, like everyone's nice. So I can at least appreciate that.
I'm laughing because it's like, oh, it's a little surprising. Everyone was nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the first hospital I was at, not that they weren't nice, but it's like if you wanted to go into the room where like there's a mini kitchen to open the door, they're like, okay, hold on. I got like 30 other things to do and then I'll be with you. And it's like, I just want a juice box. Like, is that not okay?
So you find the podcast at some point during all of this. You start listening. Thank you for that, I guess. I mean, why or how did you stumble upon it?
I will sound a bit like a parrot, as to everybody says, just typing in the word suicide in Spotify. You were the first one that popped up. And I listened. I actually listened from the oldest to the newest.
Oh, I wonder how common that is, if people tend to go from the most recent or the oldest or something else. Are there certain people or ages or places that you just resonate more with?
Not sure why, but I feel like I connect more with like the men. But honestly, everybody that you've talked to is amazing.
Do you think we'd be talking if your friend hadn't died?
So honestly, I've been thinking about maybe reaching out and coming on the podcast, but then him passing and wanting to be on here, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like maybe he would be on here and not me. I'm not sure. But I just love to hear everybody's story because you're not alone.
If I had asked you before 2022 that you would have 4 attempts, would that have been a surprising thing to hear?
No, not really. Just because of how I was feeling and everything, I wouldn't be shocked. But doing it at home with family around, just doing their own thing, I would be shocked about that.
Your mom knows about all the attempts.
Yeah, she does. Last time I was in the hospital and I was admitted, she said that next time, like if I ever do get admitted, she's just going to leave me in there. Like, even though I'm old enough to say, like, and get out myself, like, if the doctors ask, like, what she thinks and stuff.
That must not be the greatest thing to hear.
No, it is not. But also, I do understand where she's coming from because as I am getting out, I do say, like, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I will follow up with these people, but then I don't end up doing it.
Does she know we're talking?
She does not.
Does anybody?
No one knows that we're talking because not that I didn't want to tell anyone. It's just that, like, I didn't want to feel like I have to change the story or anything in case I know, like, so and so is listening. So I have to say this instead of that. Or,
Yeah, well, there's two different things. No, someone knowing you're talking to me now versus someone hearing it down the line when it comes out.
so if somebody wants to listen to it down the line, that's fine. I'll bring it up maybe to people here and there who actually are interested in mental health and all that and hearing people's stories and things like that. But other than that, no.
Is your dad still in the picture or no?
I just go and see him whenever there's family get-togethers.
You think your mom would want to hear this conversation?
I mean, she probably would, as I don't tell her stuff. Like, we're close and stuff, but we just don't have that connection where I tell her things. So we'll see.
About your brother?
He just sleeps here, so I don't really see him very often.
When's your birthday?
April 23rd.
Oh, so you were just 27.
Yes.
If I had given you that pink and purple pill back in the day, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And honestly, it's funny because that you have come up with that question to ask people, because earlier this week, as I was listening to the podcasts, I was like, yeah, I would take it right now. It's one of my favorite questions because it's like, you don't know what people are going to say.
So what if I gave it to you right now?
If you gave it to me right now, I would. So to be honest.
Wait, hold up. You've been honest with me thus far, no?
No, I have been. Like, I would take it right away, but because it is my mom's birthday tomorrow, I would save it. If it wasn't her birthday tomorrow, I would take it right now.
You would just take it. Done.
Yeah. But it's her birthday tomorrow and my
No,
brother's
I mean,
golfing. So like after that, I would.
so you're straight up suicidal.
Yeah.
Are you planning your fifth attempt?
Not right now. I have been trying to fight not thinking about it or anything like that. I know that if I do it, not that I would be sad about wanting to do it again. It's how would my family feel? Are they tired of me going in and out of the hospital, doing this, doing that? Like, it's like almost a routine for them.
You know who's probably more tired of going in and out of the hospital?
Me. Yeah.
I usually ask the birthday question most. I'm curious, but like, you're gonna make it, but that's 11 months away.
For me, hard to tell. I have an amazing job. I love all my coworkers there, like I'm actually happy with what I'm doing. But then there's this other half where it's like, why am I here? Like, why am I still fighting?
What an interesting, for lack of a better word, space to be in, right? Like, do your coworkers have any idea?
So they do. Two of them know the actual story and, things that have happened. Just because we have that relationship, right?
Did they know, do any of them, maybe those two, know that after your mom's birthday, you've got a pink and purple pill in your pocket while you're at work, and it's possible you'd go in the back and take it? I mean, do they know that extent?
So they know that I'm not necessarily planning, but since losing my friend and being off work, they know something's up,
Okay.
right? They're just hoping that, I return back to work soon and be
Right,
part of the
right.
team.
And what kind of animals do you take care of there?
Cats and dogs only.
And that's what you have.
Yes.
You got a favorite breed of either? I'm more of a dog guy, so.
So my cat is my first cat. Funny enough, my brother and my mom didn't want a cat, but they picked him and I picked another cat and I was like, okay, I should get the cat they want because it's meeting halfway. And then my dog is just a crazy mix. He's upstairs. He's terrified to come downstairs because this is my space and this is where the cat is. So
Uh-huh.
he's like, yeah, no.
Therapists?
So I did try therapy in the past. I did really try, but I feel like I could never make that connection because seeing how other people they'll tell the truth, whether their story is the same or not, right? They'll tell the truth, but then the therapist will try to readmit them to the hospital or, try to get them more help than what they can do. So I've always watched what I say. I mean, it could work in the future. Who knows? It's just little baby steps with that, I guess.
So you must have some kind of doctor, though, that was prescribing the medication.
Yeah, so it was psychologist at a hospital because I have been bouncing off of antidepressants, trying to find the right one. My doctor has just left it up to the psychiatrist at the hospital.
What meds, if any, do you take now?
So I just take one antidepressant and my ADHD meds. Before I used to take two antidepressants, one at night to like make me sleep, but it just made me gain so much weight. I just had to go off of it.
Do you think those meds are helping that you take now?
Some days I say yes, they do help. Others, I'm just like, why am I taking this? Like, I
Yeah.
don't feel a difference. But honestly, I take them not knowing that they do or don't help, that other people, they make a difference that other people know that I'm taking.
Right.
So, like, if I skip a day, they're like, oh, you didn't take your antidepressant, did you? And I'm like, okay, then.
How
Thanks for noticing.
much of a conversation starter there.
No.
So did you ever get a diagnosis you think is correct? Diagnosis?
I would say yes to the depression and anxiety. One hospital did try to diagnose me with bipolar, which they didn't get anywhere. So they just decided not to diagnose me with bipolar. They were 100% convinced that I was, but a month later, they're like, yeah, no, you aren't.
Wow, so 100% to not.
Yeah.
A big change.
Not sure what they were thinking, but I could have told them that myself. I'm not a doctor, so.
Do you wish any of those attempts had worked and you just died?
Yes, before I found this job. Because I think it would be harder to leave this job and those people with how good of a team they are and support. I know I don't want to leave my mom, and make her feel that way because I know how it feels to lose someone.
That's right, you do.
So I don't want to make her feel that way, but it also doesn't help having people that you are with every day and them almost make you feel that way, right?
What way?
Just feel terrible if you leave them or anything like that. Like I couldn't imagine doing it, but if it happens, it happens. Like I don't want to think about it. I just want it to happen.
How many people do you have in your life to talk to about this stuff?
I have a couple of people. One of them, I can be 100% truthful with them. The others, it's just like I can tell them, but I sort of watch each word I say just in case.
Okay, that's not counting for this particular question. The one person that you do have where you could be 100% honest, how often do you actually talk with them about this stuff?
Every day.
Okay. So that's an outlet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Even though they don't have mental health themselves and don't understand it, like it's very interesting.
That is very interesting, right? You would think more likely they would be dealing with some of that struggle because they get it more.
Yeah.
Please tell me you have a memoir title because I don't have one yet.
I'm sorry, I do not. I mean, I could go ask my dog, but I don't think he'll tell me.
My God, that would be the best memoir title ever if your dog was able to give it to you. That's perfect.
Yeah, or maybe I should just tell my mom that I'm on this podcast and she'll come up with it because she does marketing. So
Let me tell you something right now. I don't want that. I don't like the marketing angle. Nobody's selling the book. Nobody's even writing the damn thing. We just want the title. Cats, dogs, and pills.
I mean, are the dogs and the cats taking the pills or?
I don't know. Are they? Okay, not the memoir title. We're just working with it. We'll figure this out another time. What in your life doesn't suck?
My nephews and my niece. Sadly, they're like 40 minutes away, but I mean, it's better than them being like a 6-hour drive or something.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to be there for them right now as I missed a lot the last couple of years. So,
Aunt Claire?
yes.
I'm going to assume, given you left Russia at 1, that you don't speak any Russian.
No, I do not.
I was going to ask you what the word is for suicide in Russian, but we can Google that shit real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say I could just Google it.
Самоубийство. Самоубийство.
I'm not going to try to attempt to say it, but
I don't know if that's like a Russian woman or a bot, but probably close enough.
close enough to Siri.
Myths and misconceptions.
The one that really gets to me, I know everybody says it and it's nothing new, but when people are down, when people are saying, what about this person? What about that? When you actually are trying to attempt and you don't want to be here. For example, my brother, like, what about him? And it's like, well, I'm in this place right now and you're adding more people to it, which I would say drives me crazy when you are really in a hard spot and you just want somebody to talk to, but they bring other people in. Like you're being selfish. What about these people?
What about your brother? What about your mother? What about your friend?
Yeah,
Are you not thinking about them?
they always bring that up. It's like I think about them constantly. Like that's what's driving me crazy is when I do feel down, I do think about these people, right? And I can't explain really how I feel at the time and moment when I do feel that way. And I do think about them. Like I can't tell you, like they can keep asking, but I'm not going to have an answer for them.
The most honest way or direct way I want to ask this question is related to that is just like, what's some other dumb shit people say?
Yeah. So when I first did my suicide attempt overdose, my best friend that was like a brother to me, and my mom was like a mom to him because he didn't have a mom. He sent me a message and he said, "Are you looking for attention? Do you need people to message you and talk to you? Like, what are you trying to get to?" After that, I just was like, I'm done. I can't. Like you struggle with anxiety yourself where like you can barely work. And these are the messages and stuff you're sending me that I just can't.
Yeah, I don't know if it applies to this situation, but it's so weird because we treat it as if, at least sometimes, like attention's a bad thing. What are you looking for attention? Aren't you content with being alone and ignored your whole life? What's wrong with you?
It just doesn't make sense to me. Like when people ask if you want attention once you do make a step to commit suicide, because you could be happy, laughing, smiling, doing whatever, but have like the worst day ever inside. They don't know. They don't ask. They just see you happy. So they don't say anything. Honestly, once I'm in the hospital or I'm not working and stuff, that's when people message me and be like,
Right.
what is wrong?
You think the world would be a better place with like way fewer people?
Yes. I mean, that's why I started working with animals.
I haven't really like seriously considered that, but sometimes I'm like, which is kind of weird because I do this and I'm talking to people, but it's like a very sort of specific thing, right?
Hmm.
Because most people,
Like out of the group of friends I have, like I'm the person like as like I'm not the brightest person, but and the smartest, but like I know what not to tell somebody when they're not feeling down, whether it's mental health or not. Like this is just what you don't.
you want to add to that list? Because I'm curious, what's the stuff not to say?
It's just making it about others and not the person themselves. Like they want you to talk to them about them, not other people or about themselves.
When you're in the state you're in, so in the last few years, you've had several attempts. We can say you ideate pretty regularly and pretty intensely. At the same time, can you also imagine a future? Do you think about it? Do you have dreams, when I'm 30 or 40 with family or work or whatever else?
I don't necessarily see a future as
Mhm.
I do just live day by day. I can see a future, but not like, oh, me having a family, me having my own house, things like that.
Just like maybe being alive.
Yeah.
Do you believe in heaven or hell or any of that afterlife?
Honestly, not really.
So
Not that I don't think about it or anything, but like I just don't make a connection.
Well, I don't want to get too weird, but maybe Sam is listening, perhaps. And hey, Sam, I hope you're doing okay. What else do you want to talk about?
I know this doesn't really have to do with the podcast, but like
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned like how like you're bald all the time in your podcasts, but like every time I think about going onto the podcast or talking to you, I can just imagine you with like brown hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. I just always imagine you with like brown short hair and
Now, you're wrong, because clearly you can see right now I'm truly bald. That was true.
yeah.
I was thinking about making, how like people do sort of, what do you call it? Like an avatar? Not an avatar, like a cartoonish.
AI person.
Yeah. And then I was like, I have a pretty healthy ego in some ways, but like, I can't put myself at the center of this shit. It feels weird. And I don't want to. Like, hey, the suicide noted with Sean Wellington. Look at me with my shiny teeth and my bald head and my cool wink. Fucking check
Well, I
it.
mean, you are the one who started all of this. No one else out there is doing this that I know of.
No, I think you're right about that. And I was the one that did it. And yeah, I feel good about that. What's the rest of your day like? What do we got? We're like mid to late afternoon.
I promised my mom I shouldn't have done this, but I promised that I'll make her birthday cake. I only know how to bake cookies, so I don't know what I'm up for.
A cookie cake, obviously.
Yeah, I could just do that, just stack a bunch of cookies up on top of each other, but
Go up to the damn kitchen, ask Siri what to do. She'll tell
yeah,
you exactly what to do.
I know we have everything, but
Tomorrow's your mom's birthday. Little reason to stay alive. And then after
yeah.
that, I guess we don't know.
As like today, I all day I was like, okay, next month is a new month. I gotta either go back to work or do something because I don't want to get to the point where I just sleep all day and then
Yeah.
up all night, right? So gotta get some sort of routine back. Hopefully, I can get that to stick this time.
Yeah, hopefully. In addition to what we talked about, is there anything you want the listeners to know? But we've covered it, or you would have said it, but maybe there's something else. I'll leave it at that.
I know one person has said it before. It was at the beginning of when you first started your podcast.
Yeah.
But like honestly, I listen to hers not multiple times, but I once in a while go back to hers. I won't say her name because I don't know if she wants me to, where she said, just sit there and listen to the people who like want to ask, like, are you okay? Yeah, she honestly, like, with how she words everything and just puts it out there. Obviously, not enough people do, which of course we could do ourselves, but do they really want to know the truth? Or like, if we do tell them the truth, are they going to be honest with us? Are they going to be uncomfortable?
There's a missing part to the whole quote, just talk about it thing. Because the reality is, it's like, just talk about it as long as ...
Yeah.
Like, not just talk about it, like, but
Yeah. Like, I know so many people where, like, they know that I struggle, but, like, if I bring it up to them, I know it will be awkward for them, and they're not gonna know what to do or say or anything. They could
right.
just sit there in silence,
Yeah, they could. Well, thanks for talking with me, Claire. I appreciate
Well,
it.
thanks for doing this. And yeah, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I'm glad we could connect. I do kind of feel like in part you're doing it for your friend, which I really like.
Yes, in a way. But like, I mean, I was thinking about doing it myself, but
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, I'll let him do it. And, I'll see how I feel. Like,
He's gone, but you kind of embodying his spirit a little bit as good friends.
yeah.
Kind of nice. I never know how to end these damn things. You know what I mean? Claire, just hope you're okay. Hope you feel decent. I hope you enjoy your pets and the birthday and the baking and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I hope people keep reaching out.
And I hope you keep listening if it brings you
Thank
any.
you. Yeah, no, I listen every day, so don't worry about that. Yeah, I was scrolling and I saw like 5 people or something from Ontario, and I was like, oh my God, like this is actually happening. People from Ontario. So
Maybe something's in the water there. Who knows?
who knows? I'll have to go searching.
It ain't Russia.
No.
All right, Claire. Hope your day's decent.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support, and special thanks to Claire in Ontario. Thanks, Claire. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. You can check the show notes, the podcast description, suicidenoted.com, to learn more about this podcast. And there's a lot of cool shit in there, so check it out. I love that you are listening, and that is, of course, more than enough. But if you want to learn more, get involved in other ways, we would love to have you. And that is all for episode number 272. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.